The Snoopy 2 Helicopter UFO Encounter by Charles Lear. When it comes to helicopter UFO encounters, many people interested in this subject are familiar with what has become known as the Coyne incident, named after the Army Reserve helicopter pilot, Captain Lawrence Coyne. There was another helicopter incident 4 years later that is lesser known, but investigators at the time were quite interested in it. According to Coyne in the UPI story out of Cleveland, he and his crew were flying from Columbus to Cleveland, Ohio at 11 p.m. on October 18, 1973, when the crew chief, Robert Yannicksek, saw a red light approaching them. Coyne described it as shaped like an airfoil or a streamlined fat cigar. He said it had a red light on the front, a dome in the center, and a green light on the rear. He said, "I'm a military commander. I don't believe in UFOs, little green spacemen, and all that stuff, but I had to file an official report in detail to the Army on this thing." According to Coyne, the object came from the horizon to our aircraft in about 10 seconds. We were on a collision course. Coyne said he put the helicopter into a dive and braced for impact. They were at 1,000 feet. Instead of hitting them, the object stopped just above them. Coyne said it had a big, gray, metallic-looking hole 60 feet long. Even though the controls were set to descend, according to Coyne, the helicopter rose from 1,000 feet to 3,500 feet with no power in a couple of seconds, with no G-forces or other noticeable strains. Another case involving a helicopter came along 4 years later at the end of 1977. In this case, it was a police helicopter identified as the Snoopy 2. According to the article in the February 16, 1978 Maiden, North Carolina Times, headlined, "MUFON reports Snoopy sightings was real UFO," a team of 4 Mutual UFO Network investigators determined that the encounter with UFOs reported by the Snoopy 2 crew and simultaneous radar trackings of the same objects at Douglas Airport were genuine observations of unidentified flying objects over the Tar Heel State. The objects were reportedly first identified as plastic laundry bags with candles underneath, but the investigators ruled out planes, satellites, balloons, meteors, radar anomalies, atmospheric effects, etc. The investigators are identified as Wayne Laporte, David Oldham, Henry Morton, and North Carolina MUFON State Director George Fawcett. The officers in the Douglas Airport Air Traffic Controller recount the event 10 years later in the article by Bill Morris in the February 20, 1988 edition of Creative Loafing out of Charlotte, North Carolina, headlined UFO Memories. According to Morris, Charlotte police officers Howard Dellinger and Ron Airy were on a routine mission with Airy at the controls. At around 11 p.m. on December 27, 1977, Dellinger saw 2 lights coming rapidly towards them from the northwest. The officers told Morris that they thought they were seeing the landing lights of military helicopters heading for Fort Bragg. According to Airy, this was standard military procedure until you reach a certain altitude. According to Morris, the lights passed over the helicopter at an altitude 200 feet above it. Airy became uneasy when he was unable to see any beacons, strobes, or navigational lights. Airy turned the helicopter to get a better look. As he did so, the objects came towards the helicopter as if, according to Dellinger, their pilots wanted to get a better look too. Airy said he told Dellinger to turn on the spotlight, but Dellinger wouldn't, saying, with a funny sound in his voice, according to Airy, "There are some things you don't mess with." Airy said neither of us could believe what we were both apparently thinking. "All I know is the things were flying in some sort of formation. They were shiny, metallic crafts, and someone or something was at the controls." According to Morris, Airy contacted Douglas Airport. Air Traffic Controller Ray Bader responded and said he had 4 targets on his screen, an Eastern Airlines plane, the helicopter, and 2 unknowns. According to Morris, the 2 objects came closer, and Airy banked to his left. As he did so, one of the objects shot up and stopped at around 3,500 feet in less than 3 seconds. Airy didn't attempt to follow it and focused on the closer object. This object was behind the helicopter and remained so in spite of Airy's attempts to outmaneuver it. According to him, that craft must have been commanded by some kind of intelligence. According to Morris, the object suddenly took off and dropped a fiery ball as it did so. Airy closed in, but the Snoopy 2 maxed out at 140 miles per hour. Bader estimated the object was moving at 230 miles per hour. The case is said to have attracted the attention of the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization, the Center for UFO Studies, and MUFON, all of which sent top investigators to check on the details of this bizarre encounter. Fawcett is said to have spent over 100 hours on the case. According to Morris, the investigators discounted air inversion conditions and reflections from the ground and laundry bag balloons. According to Airy, laundry bags don't fly at 230 miles per hour, shoot up to 3,500 feet, or track on radar. Charles Lear is the author of The Flying Saucer Investigators, available at Amazon.com.